Hello and welcome to Ladies and the Law. This is a show, a pod about us as ladies and how the law affects us on a daily basis. So how we will be doing that is we will be having informative, fun conversations on set with some boss babes. And before I introduce them, my name is Dissi, Obanda. I founded Juror.
And I'm Ciiru, Komu, founder of Zazi, and we are all about women empowerment.
My name is Brenda, Ogera, founder Ogera Law, a legal firm based in Karen, Nairobi, Kenya.
Now that explains what I said about boss babes. So, into today's episode. So, just to start off, we want to understand how much we understand that the law affects us, if we understand how the law affects us on a daily basis. So, Ciiru, have you ever been arrested?
We went there.
Well, we had to start with that. We had to pack a punch, from the beginning. But okay, let me just, okay, fine. So, what was your first interaction with the law?
I've not been arrested.
Okay.
Thank God.
You don't have a rap sheet?
I don't have a rap sheet.
You look cute in one.
You look nice.
Yes.
Interaction with the law, really off the top of my head, maybe the traffic police. There was an incident or two. Yes.
You can't confirm or deny.
No.
Whether you were guilty.
But there were a few incidences.
In traffic police.
Yes, but interaction with the law, I think when I think about it, that's the first thing that would come
that actually
to
comes to
yes,
mind.
Yes.
Yeah. Brenda, your interaction with the law, other than being a lawyer yourself, has the shoe has the shoe ever been on the other foot?
It's interesting, yeah, actually, with policemen as well. Similar to Ciiru's, but in all mine is actually a number, and in all those circumstances, I was
Disclaimer.
Never guilty.
It's not about women traffic offenders.
I was never guilty at any one time. Never.
No liability.
But we all know how it is. So yeah, I've been there.
And you came out on the other side.
I came out a winner, thankfully.
Okay.
Yeah, and understands that as well. So
I was also not guilty.
Oh no. Of course not.
Yes,
of course not.
I wasn't guilty.
Okay. It's interesting that both of you have talked about traffic. I'll not add my traffic story. By the way, people, if you're ever caught for a traffic offense and you're seated in court, these are the things you need to carry, okay? You need to carry a snack because court will start at 1 p.m.
Very
you need to carry a really good novel because you need something to take the edge off and to entertain yourself.
Bundles.
You need chewing gum. And another hack is, dress like a lawyer, okay? They treat you better when they think that you're a lawyer until they find out that you're the offender.
Yes.
And then that's an issue.
Yeah.
But interesting that we've talked about traffic outside of traffic offenses. Where else do you feel, or do you think, or do you see that the law affects us? Perhaps Brenda, you could lead us there.
Yeah, the law affects everybody really in their day-to-day lives in very many ways. It's interesting that not many people know, that they're actually interacting with the law until, they probably have an incident with a policeman or the law courts or whatever, they've been sued for whatever reason.
Yes.
Yeah, but, waking up, taking a flight to Kisumu, that's actually interaction with the law right there.
How?
Booking that ticket, that's a contract. Yeah, booking that ticket to take that flight. There's some obligations that service provider has to do, and as well, you also are guided and governed by the rules that they actually impose. And it's interesting. There's a standard form contract, by the way, when like you board a bus, say down to Mombasa.
Okay, when you say standard form contract.
Yes.
What do you
I'm coming to it. So, for instance, if I go right now to take a ticket, to get a ticket from Coast Bus, I want to go down to the coast, right? On the ticket, on the face of it, there'll be the passenger name. And of course, they are branded the company name and whatnot. Then my time of departure, time of arrival, etc, etc. But on the back of it, there are always some rules. Do not leave your package unattended to. That's a standard from contract. Most people will ignore those rules. But should something happen, you'll actually be directed to that. So you may not know it, but you actually just engage in a contract right there.
Okay. So at what point does it become a contract? Because I don't necessarily sign anything. Is it when I pay?
At the time of payment, we call it consideration in law. At the time of payment, you engage yourself and put yourself on the, in that position. Okay. So yes.
In which you're contracting.
Exactly. With that company. Very interesting. But
it is
interesting. Okay. So, traffic. There's contracts. There's what else within our family lives?
Our family lives, there's a whole spectrum of it. Right from the time that you are engaging with a person of the opposite gender.
You have to qualify that.
Engaging. The minute you're engaging with somebody of the opposite gender, and making those vows that this is going to be your husband. So that's marriage right there. That's the law, right?
Okay, so do I have to be making vows for it to be
considered marriage?
To be considered marriage? No,
because when you think vows, you think a white wedding.
No, vows can be just between the two of you to each other. But you're right. When it comes to marriage, there are different types of marriages, right? Okay. So we have the customary laws, where customary type of marriages, where all you need are baraza la wazee, your parents on this side and parents of the opposite gender on this side. And both families agree and say, yes, we have blessed you guys. It is fine. And of course, the consideration in this case, again, is a number of cows. And we pray that there are always many. We pray that there are always many and sufficient for the parents of the girl. So that's a type of marriage. Right. So
is that legally,
binding?
It is binding. It is. Yes, between the two of you, it is, of course.
Okay.
Yes, and it's guided and governed by the customary laws of that particular community,
which are respected.
Which are respected.
Yes,
they are actually adhered to. Yes, by the parties.
So what about the different situationships?
That people find themselves in. Situationships come in play when you stop at this customary marriage kind of union.
You might not even get there.
Yes,
you
because
might not get there.
Yes. Exactly.
When you
might not even get there.
Yes. And you stopped at engaging.
Okay, so not to go too deeply into that, because the audience needs to know that, especially within this first season, we'll be going into marriage and what constitutes a marriage. We'll be talking about children, we'll be talking about custody, we'll be talking about the unfortunate end. Somebody famously said that if you're gonna get into something, there needs to be a way to get out.
If you're smart.
If you're smart, you need to see ahead. It's very important.
You need to see how you're gonna get out of it.
Very important. You have to have an exit clause. It's true.
Exactly.
It's very important.
So the entire spectrum of that will be covered within the show. We'll be going into those in a
step by
way.
step.
Yes.
But beyond that, something that I feel is relevant here with us is entrepreneurship. Okay, starting your own business, whether it's going to be a company or you're registering a business, you have to interact with the law.
True.
Yeah, you have to interact with the law. The other thing that in my mind I can see as a legal issue or something that we would consider a legal issue would be even before we get to reproductive health rights, just in line with business, is employment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The workplace is
Exactly.
yeah.
Is a big place in which, you know, you go, you want to have someone look through your contract,
Yeah,
and you also want to understand what your obligations are to your employer.
And even within your work environment, does the law cover us in any way in cases of harassment or relief of duty? Does the law cover us in any way, or it is what it is, you know?
Maternity leave
Yes.
for the women.
Yes.
Your HR policies, and whether those are discriminatory in any way.
Yes.
Incidentally, we did a survey, okay, at an SME, and what we found out from the young women was that how they understand that the law affects them was mostly in relation to employment, in relation to property.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, the day you buy a
Yeah.
car, you're like, nataka contract, you
Yes,
know.
yes.
I want a contract,
Yeah.
you know. Or when you're buying property, you're
Yeah.
buying a house, you're buying something that's
Some
off
land.
plan.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, something that's off plan, and you're like, okay, what am I buying? I'm
Yes.
buying
What
an
am I getting?
idea.
You're buying.
Yeah.
You're hopefully.
Yes, and you're hopefully.
Hopefully, you're buying hope.
Exactly. You're not sure about
Yes.
You're doing
anything.
it.
Yes.
faith.
In
Yes.
true faith.
Yeah.
Really walking by faith.
Yeah.
You need something that records that and that helps you understand
Yes.
True.
exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
The other way in which they understood that the law applied to them, of course, was in relation to family and home matters.
Yes.
So I think that's absolutely interesting. I will add reproductive rights.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very key.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just the fact that we are ladies seated here, and you know, you have parliament that is able to legislate.
Someone governing
yeah.
my body. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you can do this and not do
I know
this.
to do this.
It's absolutely
crazy.
crazy, to be
It is
honest.
crazy.
It
And you,
really is
you want
crazy.
to ask yourself whether these laws were written, like who
writes
the
this
law?
law?
Yeah.
First of all,
who writes the law?
was there a woman in the building?
You know, and if you think about it, and you think about, I mean, we also didn't say this. We'll talk about women in leadership.
Yes, please.
But if you look at the way our country is, the way most African nations are, there are very few elected women leaders.
Yes.
Very
Yeah. And it's these elected leaders in parliament that actually debate law and pass it. So if you have few elected women,
Then there's no representation.
then
representation.
there's very
Yes,
little
yes.
representation
Fully.
in the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are
So
things
the
that
laws come out skewed in a way.
yes.
And
Maybe not
yeah.
intentionally, but since there's no representation, then it happens.
Then yes, then it could happen. Even though there are bodies that actually sit to write this law before it goes to parliament, or even the fact that we have a constitution that's laid down, you know, there shall be no discrimination on the basis of gender, but still it goes through a parliament that has no representation.
We
As
don't make
long
the
as-
numbers, so
yes.
it's unfortunate, but you know, that's the situation right now. So
Yeah.
That's what we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to ask, which are the various ways in which we feel as women, perhaps as ourselves or our sisters out there, that it might be a bit difficult to access the law? Because we've spoken about how the law is like air, it's
Yeah.
everywhere,
It's everywhere.
you know.
It's easy to catch and use.
like Corona.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Too soon. Too
I'm sorry, you know. But so what are those ways in which, you know, it might not be that simple, in which you feel like not accessible?
Yeah. I think from just a person standpoint, I think we may not even be aware. The education around legal knowledge might be non-existent for many of us, to be honest. Yeah, and as women especially, we, you know, because of gender stereotypes and beliefs, you know, in our society, we feel like the law might not have been created for us, you know, and you hear that thing, women, suffrage and women, you know. So, yes, so we are sufferers, you know, and because we are sufferers, then, I mean, the law does not, you know, was not created for us. And, you know, there's a fear to it also, to reaching out to a Brenda, you know, and be like, oh, Brenda. First, I'm like, what will she charge me? Can I afford it?
Yeah,
you know?
Brenda, what would you charge?
Brenda.
What would you charge, Madam Lawyer?
Women are paid a bit more lower than men in the society. So we are, we already, you know, trying to fight that fight. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, from a public place of point of view, then But tell us about the cost, Brenda.
It's true.
Yes.
It's the affordability of legal
Brenda,
services.
what would you charge?
By the way, most lawyers, and I'll tell you this, we try to accommodate. So it depends really.
Okay.
On from a matter to matter basis, and you know, as a human being, okay, personally at least, I see where you're coming from. So, I mean, corporates, of course, are corporates.
Yes.
But if you come to me as Ciiru, that's a different thing we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Again, we also look at your pocket size. Yeah. So that's why we also have pro bono services as well. So a lawyer will always help you according to, you know, their ability and your ability as well. It's just a matter of understanding, really. So it really depends.
But lawyers understand where we're coming from. Because you know, we see some lawyers on Twitter at Grand Prix. You know, and we are like, okay, those are my legal fees.
That's where every lawyer strives to be. I'll tell you that. So hopefully, inshallah, one day I'll be there at Grand Prix, like you're saying.
But please pick my calls when you get there.
I'll be thinking your calls. I'll remember you. Y'all are my sisters. So yeah, I'll remember you guys. But yeah, I understand that the fear is real when it comes to affordability of legal services. So that's one thing that, you know, pulls back women from trying to access these laws that, you know, are actually there for everyone.
And even understanding. At times we'll come to you and the jargon, my friend, I'm like, what's going on? What are you talking about?
When you talk to an advocate who is not simplistic in his language, that is somebody who's out to just dismiss you. I will not lie to you.
Not to confuse.
Yes, well, they want to confuse you. They want to, you know, basically they probably have their own agenda. But yeah, by the time you're coming, you know, you have somebody who you're advising as a lawyer, you have to be simplistic in your language. Not everybody went to law school, and that's why these people actually seeking
for us to even just understand what's going on.
And just beyond that, the fact that, I mean, there's the lawyer and the way the lawyer speaks. But there's also the acts of parliament, you know, where does a kawaida person get the acts of parliament, and then the way they are written.
What are acts of parliament?
This
is what we're talking about, the technical language, you know.
Let me confuse them more. Acts of parliament are statutes.
Oh dear.
It
gets worse.
Statutes. It's legislation.
So at the end of this season, I'll be a lawyer after. This is my school of law.
Pay us good money.
We'll be here.
Yes, we will give you a certificate.
Come slowly.
We will be
slowly.
No pro bono services here for you. You are capable.
Amen. I'll take that.
But yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up, by the way, because most people know that if I want to know some particular legislation, some particular law, for instance, I have to go to a lawyer. Google is your friend. Google is a big resource. So you only need to know, like right now, I'm sure if you type family law in Kenya, it's the statutes that will actually come up first from Kenya law. So you'll actually see their statutes to do with succession law, you know. What else is there? Matrimonial statutes.
That might really be of help to us.
So it will come up. The Children's Act as well.
I think that would help us as we come to you,
Yeah.
so that we are a bit aware.
Yes.
No,
you
that's
know,
the thing. The problem,
point.
the problem is interpretation. So like
Yes.
doctors always hate Dr. Googles. By the time you're getting to their clinics,
Yes,
we
yes.
also really
We
hate
know why we are
we
here.
also really hate advocate Google. By the time
Yes.
you're coming to our offices.
Yes.
So ours is to advise, guide,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, instructions come from clients.
Yes.
So we cannot act on our whims. Yeah, we have to
Okay.
be instructed. So ours is just to advise you, guide you, and let you know what your options are.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's also important for you because it actually helps you as an individual to understand what is legal and what is not. Because you walk into our Achilles office and you have this long story. Brenda, I know they're normally long.
Boy, are they always long.
And that's why you pay consultation fees when you walk into a lawyer's office, because it's like,
Yeah.
it's my time, okay?
Yeah.
So you walk in there, you have this long story that doesn't have a head or a tail. And it's partly because you don't understand
Yes.
what the justice system can do for you, or
Yeah,
what the lawyer
yeah.
can do for you.
Yeah.
So you're giving them all your problems.
Yeah.
Some are moral, others are social, and you don't quite understand how exactly the law can come in to help you.
Yeah.
That's why we're visiting
Yeah.
the lawyer.
It's interesting. It's true, by the way. People come and offload all their problems to you, and that's why you see what is relevant.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's how now
It's
you
like going
see
to a
them.
doctor's
It
office.
is. It is really. It is really.
Wonderful. What other barriers do we think are we seeing?
I think one other thing I can think of is just the customary and informal justice system. So I don't know, is a chief, when you're in the village and you have a domestic issue with your husband.
Eat a
and-
chief.
Yeah, go to
Peleka
the
kwa
chief,
chief.
enda kwa chief, and it's sorted there, and it's like, hautamchapa tena? Okay, rudini nyumbani.
Yeah.
Is that what?
No, it is actually. Chiefs actually represent a sense of authority. Yeah, in those localities, those local areas.
Okay.
So the reason and purpose of being there is purely for that, actually. Boundary claims, which now he refers
Yes,
you to
yes.
the land registries
Okay.
that are closed there. Domestic violence, etc. If you have a bad child, I don't want to say the word bad, but if you have a problematic child, yes, it's such cases that are referred to these authorities to help guide the locals
At what point
on how to go
some
about
of those
it.
issues escalated to, I feel like that's a lot of mediation, if I'm not wrong.
But by the way, in fact, before we even proceed, let me tell you, this issue of chiefs and local authorities, they actually happen even here in Nairobi.
Yes, yes.
A week or two ago, I was actually at the Kilimani police station, and you see this child, she was actually a girl, a teenager, around 16 years, who had been away from home for like a week. And so this white man brings her, that she's been loitering and she's been in my house for the past so many days. Yes, so the first thing that hits you is like, whoa, why? Yes, but he was a good guy, and that's the reason he brought her, because she was like, I don't want to go home, but what are you doing in my house then? You understand? So the parents were brought in, and there's always that capital punishment. If you guys remember what nyaunyo means. Yes, those come into play, and they actually help also in the cities to a large extent, because now what do you do with the problem? It is not a village thing, not at all. Yeah, I've actually remembered that just right now. Yeah,
and it forms part of the larger justice system.
It does, but to a certain extent, really, because if you want to seek justice, you need something restorative, something that helps you.
I find
something
that
that
it
is
can be a bit, it can be a limitation also in a way.
It is.
Because if I just keep going back to the chief,
that mtoto ananisumbua, what do I do? How are you helping
or
yourself?
you have an actual like abuse issue in the household, or more harmful things that could be happening.
So
you have to escalate
who escalates it from that place.
Yeah, between what the chief can handle and what should be handled by the courts.
And that's why we're talking about this barrier, because you find that a lady is married to a man who is violent. She keeps going to the cops to complain and report. All you are given is an OB number. You're sent back home, right? So this lady is, you know, she's in a position where she's thinking, this man beats me, I go to the cops, nothing is done.
The cops are supposed to protect us.
It's at that juncture that you have to escalate. But then again, we are talking about fear of the law. We are talking about accessibility to justice. This lady does not know education. This lady does not know at all what her resources she can seek and how to go about it.
You know, it's very sad because it is 26 years since wanawake waende Beijing. You know, 26 years since then, and we're still at this juncture. But now, just to wrap up this episode, just in line with International Women's Day. International Women's Day is a year, not a day.
It's not a day, it's a year.
Yes, 8th March to 8th March. And I think it started counting from the year when we went to Beijing, actually. The theme this year is choose to challenge. Okay. So what here would we be choosing to challenge? From where I sit, I'm choosing to challenge, I think we today are choosing to challenge our lack of information or our lack of access to information as ladies. There is information out there. We could do a little bit more, a little bit better to try and find the information that we need to help us navigate life. So I think that's what I say.
Information is one of the biggest channels of empowerment.
Very true.
In many ways. In every facet of our lives, really. You go to school, that's empowerment through information. You read. Nowadays, we are listening to podcasts. As there are many ways that we can access information right now. So yes, I think that's a good challenge for even us as ladies seated here.
And on that breath, it's the reason why we have this right now. You know, we will be a source of resources, legal resources for women out there, our sisters, our aunties, our mothers, ourselves really, and our younger sisters, you know, so that they stay guided and, you know, fully equipped with the resources that we'll be providing here.
Absolutely. Just to add to what Brenda has said, this is that place where you need to come to find the information that you need, the legal information that you need as a lady to navigate life. So stay tuned, watch more of the episodes, and we'll be telling you exactly where you can go and find simplified information that can help you. And if you are a female lawyer out there and you would like either to be on this panel or you would like to be in our list of female lawyers that are able, willing to provide this information or this service, obviously at a fee.
Empowerment.
We don't want you broke. We need to pay you properly. Equal work for equal pay.
Yes.
Then, you know, reach out to us, email us, and join our panel of ladies. But outside of that, ladies, I think this has been an excellent chat. It's been a good first episode. I am.
Yes, we are going to cheers with our water.
God.
Yes.
Cheers.